Good evening and welcome to News9. I'm Bansi. How about personnel in khaki reading out news bulletins on crime and enforcement in the city? Bengaluru police will soon have its own news channel on social media. It is taking to multimedia to interact with the public. Video clips on police-related issues will be periodically uploaded on social networking sites such as Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. A high-tech studio is being set up for the purpose on the 5th floor of the new police commissioner building on Infantry Road. You will see media-savvy cops going on air from the first week of September itself. A 10-member dedicated staff has been trained to work in the studio. All information related to the city and policing will be aired. In fact, the police say that it will help in avoiding congested roads by alerting during emergencies. So, are you ready for the khaki journalists? Well, will you watch the police channel? Give tips to the Namma police as they become your next door crime reporter. You can call us on 223-60304 or 223-60305, or you can text us on 99809 45138. To talk about this, we have a media professional, Ms. Maya Chandran, and then we have an advocate who practices in the High Court, Mr. Rolly Muddappa. Also, we have the police commissioner himself, Mr. M.N. Reddy, whose brainchild it is to launch this channel. We will soon have him on air, but before we go to him, let me speak to Ms. Maya Chandran. Now, you are a media professional, and what do you think about such an effort?
Well, I think this is a fantastic idea coming from the Bengaluru City Police, and it's
Why do you think it's so fantastic? Because all of us are there, professional journalists.
I think it's one way of keeping close to the public, what I would call it. Bengaluru City Police is very active on the social media. They have about 1 lakh followers, I think, on the social media right now.
3 lakh followers.
3 lakh followers is what they have reached today. And I think this is a step forward in terms of being closer to the public that they are answerable to. And I think this is a very, very good step to be live on as a channel. And I think it's a great step forward by the police.
Mr. Rolly, you're an advocate, you practice in the High Court, you studied in Australia.
Yep.
Now, as a student, would you have liked to catch up with what is the latest in the city police when you were in Australia? Go on the net and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to first start off with this thing that our Prime Minister is specifically talking about the smart city concept. I guess by this initiative, we're getting smarter.
Police are getting
smarter. That's very good for society. That's very good for the country. They're very good for the state. Now, with respect to your topic regarding when I was in Australia, yes, I mean, I'm a practicing lawyer and I'd taken a sabbatical those days. I remember there are certain cases where there are very petty cases where people have lost some stuff, somebody's vehicle is stolen, or certain case updates.
House burgled, chain snatched.
Yes. So now, how do you follow that up? Because basically, before you have to call up the police station,
go to the police
investigation officer gets changed, a new guy comes in, so nobody knows what's the file. But by the police going online with such an initiative, at least the people can track it and find out what's happening.
So all you have to do is just log on and watch the channel, and you know what's happening.
Exactly. So it's a more interactive way of finding out what's happening actually.
So the police can directly interact with the people.
The people can directly interact with the police.
People can directly interact with the police. It's two-way. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's go to the police commissioner himself. The man who's... let's go to the police commissioner, Mr. M.N. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, there is the police channel that you're planning to launch. Tell us a little more about this.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're very audible.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised that our very humble effort to reach out to the public through a particular medium, which will be exclusively our own, has attracted so much of attention. I'm very happy about that. Because this will also help people to know that there is a police medium available. Essentially, the idea is that we have a lot of information about a lot of events, lot of incidents, lot of cases of detection, recovery, accidents. There is a lot of informative information on how to improve road safety on the streets, on the roads, how to prevent crimes like chain snatching, for example. I think for all this, what we felt was that it is necessary to have a dedicated channel, and this essentially was prompted by our fairly successful social media outreach. As you are aware, Bangalore City Police is probably the largest followed in social media in terms of Twitter as well as Facebook. I think we have about more than 1 million followers, which gives us a lot of happiness that we can reach out to a large number of people. So we thought we might as well piggy ride on the social media channels that we already have got with video content which is as close to live as possible.
So this means you won't have a television channel, which means uplinking and all that. You will be as an internet TV channel.
Well, I mean, as things stand, I think we will start with an internet TV channel by way of posting them on YouTube and then or any other medium, and then cross-populating it on our very widely connected population of about 1 million. As we go forward, we will see if there are opportunities for us to explore live streaming.
So if you look at the content, how do you plan the content of the channel?
Well, I think, I mean, we are not experts in media, we are hardcore professional policemen, but commonsensically speaking, whatever we show should interest the public. People should feel like watching it, not just once, should feel like watching it more often, should feel like being part of the conversation. Maybe we should take some questions. I do not know, maybe we'll consult some professionals as we go forward, maybe including yourself. You know, you are a very reputed anchor yourself, so you can advise us how we can make these things more interesting.
Okay, also, you know, earlier I was speaking to you and you said there is so much of information with the police. For example, how a detection is done. For example, it could be something as we can't call it inane, but let's say a police dog which is served on duty passes away. How do you give it a full funeral service? Something like that. Can you tell us a little more on some of those plans that you're thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, actually we didn't realize it before because life was going on as always over the last, I guess, 100 years or so in the police department. But there are so many things that are there within the police as an organization, which happens. Like we have our own, mounted company with horses. We have our dog squad. We have got a fingerprint unit. We have got a forensic science laboratory. We've got a host of activities that happen within the police system, which are basically meant to provide a police service to the public. Each of them can be very interesting to people of different age groups, different professions, on different days of the week, I guess. So we will, like you said, recently we had one of our dogs, one of the members of the dog squad passed away. So Deputy Commissioner, rank officer with his staff in full dress gave a salute, farewell salute to the dead dog when it was buried. So that was a very touching thing, and then I think these are the things that could definitely tell people the humane side of the police as well.
Also, there is a lot of information you said about how a crime is detected. There's so much the police know, but all of it cannot really be carried on the media, you were telling us. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, there are very interesting crime detection stories which can be shared with public, but I think parts of the methods of investigation are best kept not shared for want of popularizing it and for want of criminals learning to beat us on it. So I think to the extent possible, some of the iconic important cases were detected, what were the leads that were available, can be very interesting for the public as well. And then ultimately the idea is that the police must open up itself. Police must not be seen as a closed entity. It must become transparent to the extent possible. It must become open, it must become responsive, so that the people start feeling that the distance between the police and public has shrunk. We must become closer. I wish that our police stations become, hubs of activity on a weekend when children can just walk in and spend some time, or just paint on the walls in the police station. So I think you get the community closer in many. This is one of the ways by which we can then get the public to cooperate with us in detecting cases, maintaining law and order as well. One simple example is that we hold a lot of community related work. Community policing is a very strong thing. A lot of members of the community work with us. They come with us on beats, night beat for example. We could show that, how they are doing night beat. It will motivate more people to join.
Also, some of the areas, this channel, is this the first that any city or state in India has its own channel?
Well, I mean, that's the reason why I fear to tread the path of saying that it's a full-fledged channel. I hope that it grows into a kind of a comprehensive, whether you call it a channel or not. But I think probably as far as I know, probably we will be the pioneers in this. But I stand corrected. I may not be knowing everything.
Also, there is the other incident. There is the other city of Atlanta which has its own police channel in the US.
Yeah, interesting. It's not very surprising because CNN is based out of Atlanta.
Okay, so Atlanta channel, the city police there have their own channel, but this Bangalore City Police channel will be a first of its kind in India.
Well, I think it should be, because I have not come across, nobody has told us yet about any such thing existing. Probably we are the first.
Okay. Now, as far as the Atlanta channel is concerned, there's a lot of cool stuff that is on it, like the police partying or having a good time. Will we have even those on the Bangalore City Police channel?
Well, as Bansi, police is part and parcel of the larger society and the cultural context. So what's culturally and societally permitted or read by our population and our people, I'm sure that it will be there for them to see.
Maybe one of your officers won a prestigious world tennis title recently. Maybe you could feature him prominently. More things could happen.
Sure, we could do. You're very right, Bansi. We could do that. We can show the game that he won in the US World Police and Fire Games finals. He won the gold medal, Mr. BNS Reddy. I'm sure Mr. Rudraswamy is one of our headables. He won World Championship in yoga in Beijing. Many of our Karnataka State Police teams are winning excellent medals, and many are doing very well, even at the international. So all that I'm trying to say is that if you see our Twitter handle, that I put on the Twitter handle, that we want to make Bengaluru City police. We want you to understand and know that we are there for you, and if there's a channel that tells anything about us to you, start feeling closer.
Okay, because most policemen are unknown persons, maybe barring the commissioner or a few DCPs, the other non-executive policemen are virtually unknown. Would we have a chance to know them better or interact with them through this channel?
Well, I think Bansi, you're giving a lot of ideas on how we could make it more interesting. That's surely the way forward. We need to consult with friends like you and many others in the media field who can help us, handhold us as we go forward.
Okay. Lastly, one question. All of us journalists are trained as journalists. How do you handle the issue of training? Because you're all trained policemen, you're all trained law enforcement officers. But as far as journalism is concerned, how will you train your officers to be good journalists?
Well, Bansi, I hope you will pardon me for saying this, that quite a few times on channels, investigation happening. Similarly, quite a few of our officers and men, I think, already are quite adept at photography, for example, geography, or even ways of dealing with media, etc. So, and there's some basic material already existing, but we can fine tune that and bring it to a shape. We don't need to train too many people, just a small group should be enough.
Someday the state should also have its own police channel starting from the city. Would you think on those lines also?
Why not? I think we are all one force. Bengaluru City Police is part and parcel of the Karnataka State Police, and I'm sure that it will sooner than later grow into a statewide channel. We'll have more content available from across the state. We'll have more viewership from across the state. I think I'm more excited and encouraged by your taking this up as a prominent feature of your show today. I feel emboldened.
Okay, I have as additional commissioner traffic, we saw you doing the B track. That was then the beginning. People did not understand B track. Now everybody talks of B track. Now, are you talking of another innovation that could change the way policing goes over the next few decades?
Well, I would say this is part and parcel of a larger movement towards building close relationship with people.
Okay.
I think one area that was definitely not fully exploited, the potential, is the power of the public in providing us information, in standing by us, in understanding us, in working with us in many ways. So unless we communicate with them, unless we open up ourselves, unless we are in constant touch, we can't achieve that. So one way of doing it is through social media, another way of doing it is to get onto a kind of a channel, kind of a medium wherein we can more actively, through a event, we can interact with them. So I think it's part and parcel of a larger pro-public, citizen-friendly policing.
Okay, will you also have some slot for questions and answers, because people would like to ask a lot of questions to the police? Would you have that also, a slot for that as well?
Yeah, sure, because as we are talking now, both on Facebook as well as Twitter, we already have a lot of questions asked, sometimes uncomfortable questions, but we have opened up in a daring manner. We said let's face it, and we will answer to the best of our ability. And I think we can do that even live.
Like, can you talk about one or two of those questions asked?
Well, I mean, there are sometimes questions that they pose, that why are the constables actually manning the lights? Instead, they should be booking cases at the intersections. Or let's say there can be a video which they may upload and say that, look, this is how a particular officer is misbehaved. What do you have to say about it? But trust me, in the last 1 year, our experience has been that Bengalurians have been extremely cooperative, understanding. They are very well aware of the limitations within which we work, and therefore they have been very responsible as well as responsive. So I think there will be questions, some uncomfortable, but we should be able to answer those.
Okay. Mr. Reddy, the news of your transfer has already come about. Tomorrow you're going to hand over charge. Tell us on your 1 year, I mean on your tenure, you've been police commissioner at a time, you took over, and at the time you're handing over charge. How do you look at the city?
Well, Bengaluru is a very massive city. It's a very complex city. It's got probably the largest immigrant population, one of the largest immigrant populations. It's got high income group of people as well as low income group of people. It's got tech savvy population. The roads are bursting at the seams because of traffic. Because of the fact that there are people who can become targets to robbers and thieves, there are a large number of robberies, chain snatchings that take place. It's a very complex population from a demographic point of view, sensitive because of the mix of populations. So it calls for a very comprehensive, at the same time very insightful policing. I had the opportunity of having worked in Bengaluru city for at least about 8 or so years in the past before I became police commissioner. So I could slide into the chair far more easily than I would have imagined. Having said that, I think the seat of the police commissioner is a hot seat. The dimensions of reality that you need to look at are far more complex than what probably an additional commissioner or a deputy commissioner would look at it. But I think I have learnt a lot more than anything else in how megapolis has to be policed.
Also, Mr. Reddy, you were also a student here in Christ College.
Well, yeah, I did study at the Christ College. Yeah, I did my graduation, undergrad, Christ College.
Okay, but much has changed since then.
Well, I mean, roads have become more packed. I think things have changed much more than 1975 to 78 that I studied. So, but still, there is the original essence of Bangalore which still continues while changes also take place.
Okay. Now, for your channel, have you consulted with anybody? Have you spoken to anyone? Have you, to put your thoughts, to implement your thoughts? Have you spoken to anyone?
We have done some research on the net as well as the countries and cities which have got this kind of exercise. We have also consulted some media professionals. Maya is one who has been working with city police for many years, doing creative stuff for traffic education. So we have consulted her as well. So as we go forward, we will consult more people.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, thank you for joining us with all those thoughts. We will, of course, come back to you. We will, of course, come back to you. Well, Ms. Maya, now he says you're one of those who he has consulted. Tell us what, as a media professional, how would you like to take this forward?
See, this is a very, very exciting enterprise brought out by the Bangalore City Police, like I said. And the challenges, like I have been telling Mr. Reddy, is in the content creation, the classiness and the slickness of the content that has to be on this channel.
So you can't have inane, boring stuff.
Yes.
Like the Sarkari stuff.
Like the boring Sarkari
People will just
stuff like
switch
that.
off.
They'll just switch off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're on a social media where attention spans are very, very limited, very fleeting, very limited.
Okay.
So you need to capture that.
You need to capture that. How will they hold on to the viewers? Because this is a Sarkari channel, but it cannot appear like a Sarkari channel. How do they do that? We talk about this after a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're talking of the Khaki channel. We're talking of the police channel that the Bengaluru City Police are proposing to set up. And we have Ms. Maya Chandra. You're one of the media professionals that the police are consulting. Now tell us what thoughts you have to make it more interesting, to make it less Sarkari, although it is Sarkari.
See, one is the challenge of content creation, which, like I was telling you, it has to be done in a very, very professional manner. Does not have to resemble any channel, any other content that people get to see normally. So this is where we are starting from in terms of getting the subject matter in proper ways. And how are we going to shoot it? How are we going to produce it? Make it slick, make it interesting.
How many meetings have you had? How many days have you spent on this dreaming and putting together your thoughts?
It's been a couple of months now that we have been on this.
So more or less your thoughts are now, you've managed to put your thoughts into action. The thoughts are, you're giving shape to your thoughts.
Yes, it's kind of. Many other professionals are also
involved. Okay, is this studio, the studio which you showed, is that part of your planning?
Absolutely. Everything, the vision to go along with Mr. Reddy's vision has to be professionally planned, has to be professionally done. So we have
Okay, now here, this is the studio that
professionals.
you've planned. This is on air. Now we have the picture of that studio. Now what exactly do you have in that studio?
Well, it's going to be a proper professional
studio.
professionally designed and built studio with acoustics and the rest of the technicals that you're looking at. And this is where the broadcast will, I mean, like the online casts, like we say, are going to start from. And the rest of the content will be created periodically and uploaded on the channel of the police.
Okay, so this is the studio. This is the studio of the proposed Bengaluru City Police channel, and a high-tech studio it looks like, because there is no compromise on quality, and the content, they say, should be as interesting as the studio itself. We have a caller joining us, Sandeep joining us from Indranagar.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sandeep.
Good evening, Mansi.
Yeah, good evening.
And good evening to the panelists.
Good evening.
Interesting subject that's going on there.
Yeah.
And I think it's hats off to Mr. Reddy for having done this. He has been very tech savvy right from the beginning, from the time the word go. And he finally, this is a parting gift to the Bangalore city. And I had, in fact, wanted to talk to him on few occasions, though I met him, I couldn't talk to him, regarding a certain level of policing that could be done, high-tech. That is, if we can have a diktat which says that every household should put a TV, CCTV in front of their house covering the frontage. On either side. So what happens is, supposing a thief is running from one place to other, his entire movement can be tracked, and he can be tracked straight away without a single police being on the ground at the place over there. And this kind of a thing is amazing, because it can be easily implemented. There's nothing wrong with that. When the government can impose rainwater harvesting, why can't they impose something like this, which is good for their own safety? Already, most of the commercial establishments have got their TV cameras, CCTV cameras fixed outside and inside.
Surely food for thought for the city police. Ms. Maya, how do you respond?
Yeah, definitely, like
you would
Mr.
get all
Reddy
your
himself.
content from the houses.
We don't want to depend on that.
Just imagine one
This,
thief, after the act running, it's content for your
It's
channel.
content for the
24/7 you have content.
Yeah, but I think that's one aspect which Mr. Reddy talked about, because this kind of an initiative is going to have a two-way boomerang effect between the citizens and the police, and the police and the citizens.
Okay.
While the police can also showcase a lot of the work that they do,
Okay.
and a lot of the behind the scenes work, like for example, you took up the dog squad, you took up the fingerprinting squad. The kind of hard work and the dedication that goes behind the scenes can actually be channelized through good stories, content coming out. In the same way, what is happening among the public can also be an interaction with the police channel. So this way it promotes a lot of two-way interaction, giving a lot of credibility to how the police are looked upon by the society and the citizens at large. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to look forward to.
Also, you spoke of making content interesting.
Yes.
Now you also teach journalism to students of journalism at the Bangalore University.
I teach media,
You teach
filmmaking and media.
filmmaking.
Yes.
So how is there some learning that comes from there as well?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I've been in the media for the last 18 years in this city, working with a lot of government departments. And that way there's been a lot of learning which has happened in terms of how do we work on these things. Many of the work that we have done for different government departments are have a very corporate look and feel. Like you talk about the investor films and films for promoting Karnataka on a
Like
branding
Jim?
level. Like the Global Investors Meet. So we are used to making the Sarkari communications look very much like corporate communications. And we have been doing this for the last 18 years, right from the time Karnataka has been branding.
Okay, so content and making a channel interesting doesn't come easy. But then there are some tough media managers that should make it possible. We slip into a short break on this. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're also joined in by a caller, Mr. Satyanarayana, joining us from Banashankari in Bengaluru South.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Satyanarayana.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Satyanarayan.
Yes, doctor.
This is an excellent approach to keep the citizens updated about the various activities that the police department is undertaking and doing. My suggestions are regarding the content. One important aspect is that, every day the papers and other media are announcing the crime, and this, so many crimes happen this way, that way, and all that. But after that, nobody knows what has happened to those crimes and how it has progressed, or the progress that the police people made and all that. So I feel an update. This is a channel which can give periodic updates of what is happening to those crimes, whether it is rape or bank robbery or whatever it is. This will have impact on the population, that they are aware that such and such a crime has happened, and therefore they can take precautions on that. And second thing is, they take cognizance of what the police department is doing it. To the extent that secrecy allows, let them give the advance that they have made in detecting and solving the issues. So this probably is a very important thing that I'm missing. Today I read something, and after that I just don't know what has happened. That is one. The follow-up. The second issue is, while developing the content, the most important that is not taken into consideration, I feel, a chunk of population is important. The senior citizens, who are the past youth, I would like to say, who gave the youth to the country, they should be given priority on certain issues, especially the traffic movements and the footpath issues and so on. Anyway, whatever issues are there which concern police regarding senior citizens, the content should be very specific to them. That when you involve the senior citizen content, automatically the vulnerable groups like women and children, they also come into that. So this is a very important aspect, that while developing the content, if they can take into consideration the issues of the senior citizens, that would be highly appreciated, because it's very beneficial to the community.
Okay.
So these are some thoughts I had. Probably I will be in touch with them further to come up with more thoughts as and when I develop it.
Thank you for joining us with those thoughts. Well, Ms. Maya, now, on this one issue, that people can come back to you.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you report once and it's forgotten.
And it's forgotten, yeah.
There is a follow-up.
That's
So
the beauty
can you
of
talk
it.
about that?
What Dr. Satyanarayana was talking makes a lot of sense, because we have been thinking on those lines. And as you know, in cases of crime, there is only there is a limit of the legality issue comes into play here. Whereas how much is too much or how much is too less.
Okay.
Okay, so as coming in from an official channel like the police channel, there needs to be a good legal backup to say what can be shown and what cannot be shown.
Okay.
Definitely the solved cases which are over in the court is something that has been planned, that is going to be converted to stories and shown to the people as to what happened, many of the resolved cases. But if you look at many of the cases that are ongoing, they are in the court. And I think he can, as a legal expert, he can really shed more light on that, because there is a lot of legalities to be followed in this kind of thing.
Yeah, now the issue is the media cannot judge any issue.
Right.
Yet we often see some sections of the media trying to look at certain issues in a different way. True. I won't call it judging, but sometimes there have been objections raised about media trying to judge the issue before the issue is decided.
Right.
Now, as far as the legality is concerned, how do we look at this? If the police report about a certain case on their channel, legally, are they committing themselves? Are they, can they be pulled up for it? Can they get stuck somewhere?
Yeah, there are two ways to look at it. First of all, the police is the investigative arm of the law. They investigate the case and present the report, the charge sheet and everything to the court. That's where their responsibility ends. All they have to come again is as witnesses
To depose.
before the court and everything. Now, I think what Maya is saying is correct, because there are cases which are going on, so they can't comment on that because that's in the court. And anything commented will also become a document in court for the defense
Okay.
to target the prosecution and everything. So there's a very subtle line they need to draw. They need just need to concentrate on the investigative aspect of this particular case.
Okay.
I mean, I can relate to it because if all of us watch these foreign channels, the late night channels, there's a program called Cops. So you have a TV inside the policeman's car, a camera, which follows the policeman and they document the kind of activities they do. I think those are the interactive things which the social
Which
media
they can
actually
plan.
And with respect to, Dr. Chandra, who just called up regarding the senior
Dr.
citizen.
Satyanarayana.
Dr. Satyanarayana, I'm sorry
Okay.
about that. I myself am, in fact, involved with a senior citizen who's at the moment writing a book on police policy in Karnataka and across the country towards senior citizens.
Okay.
So you can bring in such people online also, and who can present their material, which gives an idea to all the other senior citizens who are watching it. I mean, it gives an interaction there. It gives a chance for people to share their views, because today we are all connected and everybody wants to express their views.
Your father was in the services.
Obviously, but those days there is no interaction.
He was a commandant in the BSF.
He's a DIG in BSF.
He was a DIG in the
Yes.
Border Security Force.
Border Security Force.
Now, what you're saying is, if they fix cameras in the police patrol vehicles,
Yes.
that will give them content and footage that they can use later.
Let's admit it. All of us like to be a part of the action. So the investigative aspect is quite exciting. I'm sure Maya would share that.
Would you like to think on those lines? I think he's
definitely.
talking
See,
of a certain.
There is already a very nicely equipped traffic management center on Infantry Road, which has, I think, about 41 cameras that are pointed at various junctions, traffic junctions, and that itself is a lot of fodder for content there if you're looking at it. And how that content can be creatively managed to create something that's exciting for people to watch. See, first of all, people have to be compelled to watch this channel. We cannot dismiss it as just another thing, effort by the police to glamorize themselves or anything like that. But this content, this channel has responsibility, has responsibility of building the credibility of the police, has responsibility of conveying the right news. That is, whether it comes to traffic or whether it comes to other things, whether it comes to crime, it conveys the right news to the people at the right time.
Also, one challenge for any Sarkari enterprise is, if you look at certain government initiatives, they get into this business of PR. It's not objective news anymore. It turns into PR. So that is when you've lost your viewer, because that would mean you take your viewer for granted. So the moment you move from objectivity to PR, then you've lost your viewer. Once or twice, maybe he will take the abuse, but then you've lost him. How do you plan to just do the tightrope walk?
I don't think this is a PR effort at all. It's a sense of responsibility and the sense of ownership that they have for the citizens of this city. And that's where this channel has sparked up. It's not to promote themselves. Definitely not. So it's basically to
for example, if people would look at government controlled news media. Okay. Now the allegation against some of these government controlled news media is that they would toe the government line. They would say what the government wants them to say. They would not say what the opposition is talking. So, yeah.
Sorry to butt in. I think because it's interactive and it's online, if the government tries to do something like that, I'm sure they'll be facing a million subscribers who are airing their comments, which the government would not want, I think. So I think they have to respect the channel for what it is. I guess that's what it is all about.
And be objective about it. Yes.
Absolutely, and be objective about it. This is not a private enterprise or like any other private channels. Like I said, the credibility, responsibility and a social responsibility all go hand in hand. And it cannot turn into a propaganda vehicle as you are trying
absolutely.
to name it. It's not going to do that.
Because,
and it cannot also. It cannot afford to do that.
Because sometimes we've seen this abuse, sometimes very subtly that goes on. So we need to draw a line somewhere and say, okay, this is where it stops.
Abuse by the public, abuse
by the by those who control it.
Abuse by those who control it. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
I think we're.
These are legitimate questions.
Yeah, these are legitimate thoughts, by
Yeah.
the way. But I don't think a channel like this can also curve in that direction because there is a lot of public involvement. As you can see, the amount of traffic on Facebook and Twitter of the Bangalore City Police, and that is the target audience who are already there. And they are going to be following this channel.
You have a million plus already.
Yes, and that's a huge audience, and not, maybe envious
You
to
would be
every
larger
public
than
channel.
some of the existing channels.
Yes, exactly. The viewership, if
The
you look at
viewership,
it,
you would straight away.
if you straight away calculate the numbers, it would probably be much higher than all your channels put together.
Okay, the viewership of about 1 million plus, would it be higher than all the channels put together? We talk about this after a very short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We also are joined in by Bengaluru Babu Kumar from Indranagar. Yes, Mr. Babu Kumar. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Babu Kumar, please share your thoughts.
Bansi, I appreciate the police commissioner for coming out with new technologies and everything.
Okay.
I remember you had a program where the traffic in charge told that all the vehicles parked on the footpath will be fined and they have to go to the court and register, have to get their cars or bikes released. And they gave me a Facebook and Twitter, everything. I put it on the Facebook. Even today, Indranagar 100 Feet Road has a wallet parking on the footpath on all the pubs and cars. No matter how much technology comes into the police department, whatever happens, the attitude of the police is not going to change because there's a huge income is generated from all these sources. And where are they going to act? You may have news channels, you may have Facebook, you may have internet, you may install cameras, but still everything is going to remain the same until the attitude of the police officers change.
Okay,
Please,
Mr. Babu Kumar, let me answer your question. I remember the program that we did, parking on footpaths, and I remember Dr. M.A. Salim, the additional commissioner of police, Bengaluru City Traffic, was the guest on that show, and he said for the moment they're restricting that drive to the tender for sure roads. If you're talking of the tender for sure roads, we're talking of stretch of St. Mark's Road, we're talking of a little stretch of the surrounding area, because only those are the tender for sure roads. The rest of the city is not yet tender for sure. So he was talking of maintaining the street furniture and the tender for sure roads, because in many of those places it has been damaged. So he says in those places they have imposed this and this restriction of avoiding parking on the footpath, but they are not really enforcing it in the other parts of the city, if that answers your question. Now can we come back to this conversation?
Absolutely. See,
because
like
let's say, with all due respects, let's say like we've seen what is happening in the Lokayukta. We've seen CCTV cameras have been removed. There's also allegation, like Mr. Rowley was saying, files have been removed. So much of evidence has been destroyed. Now let's say there is an abusive authority sitting as at the helm of affairs. Could this channel be hijacked for the wrong purposes? Could this channel be then abused? I'm only asking a question. Could it be done?
See, as a responsible department as the Bangalore City Police, we cannot say what could happen. Okay, they have a responsibility towards the public, and it is ultimately that responsibility will be shown on a channel like this. Any abuse, like you call it, or misuse that you may call it, will definitely be condemned by the public on the other side, because this is a social media and it is two-way.
Okay.
And that's where you instantly start losing your audiences.
Absolutely.
And about attitude
Nobody
change,
goes to the Lokayukta to complain anymore. Can you see a Lokayukta office where people went by the dozen to complain every day? And it's not easy to complain to the Lokayukta. You need to go file an affidavit. It's one of the most complex procedures of complaining to the Lokayukta. I don't know if you have tried it.
Yes.
In spite of that complex procedure, people would go and complain to the Lokayukta. Now, if you look at the number of complainants, it has come down to a trickle. Just a small number who go there.
effort like this, like he was telling, how can we change the attitude of the police? Now, when the police voluntarily present themselves on the online media, on a video platform, I think automatically a sense of responsibility and a sense of attitude change will come, because they are right there meeting the public face to face. So I
brings in transparency.
Yeah, brings in a lot of credibility and a respect for them from the thing. They are the face of the police, so they need to be handling this responsibly. And I think that is one very important factor which is going to go into the way this channel will be popular or not.
Okay, we are in the last few minutes. Now, Mr. Ali, how do you look at this channel? How should it be?
Well, first of all, I must congratulate the Bangalore Police for such a wonderful initiative. And it's technology which is accessible to the general citizen. So that's the best part here. The other good part is it's interactive. So people can, all this while they're sharing their thoughts and their views on Facebook and Twitter. And we know Twitter and Facebook have become so strong, they can change governments. We've already seen it in the center. So that's the power of the people. Now, when there's so much power given to police also, they are so responsible for it. So that makes it more interactive for the regular citizens to air their views and follow up. I mean, I don't know what is the next content there, but I'm sure the police will be will give more information. The people will provide more information. This will be good for the state and in detecting crime and ensuring nothing like that happens.
Okay, also there will be pressure on you to telecast, to broadcast vernacular also.
Yep.
Because you can't restrict yourself to English, because most of the state speaks Kannada. So how will you deal with that?
There will be dual languages. Definitely we'll have to give
It'll
prominence
be
to
bilingual.
Kannada.
You will have Kannada and English.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely that has to be done automatically. We cannot neglect that aspect of it. So bilingual it will be. And much of the content, there should be a good balance between both the languages, because in our state, as you know, like Mr. Reddy said, there is a large number of immigrant population here
Also.
and tech-savvy population which would like to log on and watch this channel or watch it on the channel that's available all the time. So I think this is a good way to go, and it brings in a lot of credibility, transparency, and basically what I look at it, respect for our police force.
Okay, so that's where it goes. The city police, Bengaluru City Police, launching their own television channel. Of course, it will be on the internet. They're planning to launch as early as tomorrow. And hopefully all of us can get all our updates, crime updates of the city from the Bengaluru City Police channel. Whether it's a wrap on this, thank you for joining us on this program. On the other side as a news bulletin, stay tuned.